Hey, have you had a long week? Are you already planning the week ahead? Or are you still resetting after the kids, cleaning, and just general life? Are you stuck doom scrolling on social media? Have you found time for a faith reset? Welcome to Sunday Reset.
Sunday Reset, coming at you a week later than originally scheduled, but still coming at you live. It's really good to be with you and to have you with us. My name is Ben, and I am the host of Sunday Reset. I am a perennial asker of questions, wanting to learn always and find out interesting things from interesting people, particularly about Christian faith, about spirituality, about theology, about how we live as human beings who are created in the image of God. I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a fan of wrestling, all of those kinds of things. So yeah, it's really good to be with you. And we are joined this week, this month, by Gail. Gail, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, I how do I follow that? I'm Gail. I am a mother. I'm a wife. I am also a lover of theology, of studying God, of getting to know Him better, of wrestling, but of a different sort. Wrestling with good questions and all of that. And my role at the moment is I'm a curate, which for those of you who don't know what a curate is, it's a vicar with stabilizers, I think is how I'm phrasing it at the moment. That's training brilliant. to go a bit more solo. So yeah, that's me.
Fantastic. Now, the opening question for this evening's Sunday Reset is this. What is something small or ordinary that has moved you to tears? Now, we'll come on to kind of why we're talking about this a little bit later on, but Gail, what's something small or ordinary that's moved you to tears?
So the last thing that made me cry, the thing that came to mind that I can remember is on Friday, I watched with my daughters and my husband, we had a movie night and we watched Zootopia 2, which is fantastic. I mean, if you've not seen it yet, definitely recommend it. And I can't even remember which bit it was. I was trying to remember earlier, but there was something in that story which just, it just made me had a weepy moment, you know, just something in the story resonated with me. So yeah, that was the last time something ordinary just made me cry.
That's interesting. For me, it was similar. Not Zootopia 2. I haven't seen that yet. Although my daughter's seen it, I think 3 times.
It's great.
But yeah. I'm looking forward to it. But was in an episode of Doc Martin that I've been binge watching recently. And again, I can't remember what it was. I think it was like a moment of connection between the Doc and someone else. But yeah, I think it was, something about that. There was like an unusual connection or something like that just made me well up a little bit. Yeah. And then I pushed,
deep down.
In a very manly way, I pushed those tears deep down. Before that, it was my aunt's funeral, actually, last, not the Friday just gone, Friday before that, when my uncle said that he looked at the coffin and he said, "It's not goodbye, it's Auf Wiedersehen," which in German means kind of until we meet again, or when we meet in another place. So it was that. Although I didn't cry in that moment, but I did then when I got home afterwards, in private, hiding. I think I was in the shower.
Oh, bless you. Oh.
We've had some really interesting kind of answers to this question already. There we go. We've got a new thing, and I'm going to do that. So John says, in Princess Diaries, when Princess Amelia decides to leave aside her personal life goals and take up a larger responsibility to serve her people.
Yeah, that's a good one. I've cried at that.
Really?
Yeah.
I've not seen Princess Diaries.
Oh, Ben, what are you doing? It's
Sorry.
brilliant.
I'm watching wrestling.
Film. Oh yeah, you're too busy watching wrestling.
Crying at Danhausen firing T-shirts into an audience. That's a very niche. Sorry.
It's gone like whoosh over my head. I'm like, okay, don't know what that is.
It's an incredibly niche reference. I apologise. Jude, my mum's face when she opened her 90th birthday present, a cushion with my dad's face on it.
Wow.
It's... I think what's really interesting in both of those answers there already, there is such a breadth in the way in which people, in the kind of things which elicit
Yes.
tears
Yeah.
from people. Adam, very much in my wheelhouse, my friend, when John Cena retired.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, actually, though, to be fair, like there is.
No, here we go.
For context, Adam is Gail's.
Better half.
I wasn't going to say better.
No, I probably wouldn't normally.
Husband. There is there's something where you have a long connection with something or with somebody,
Yes.
and then you suddenly realise that connection, that thing, has come to an end. That just brings something out of you.
Yeah.
Kelly said here, when our lovely youth leader took time to tell me how proud of our daughter she was that Sunday morning after we had a long, difficult week with her. Yeah.
There's so much here, isn't there? There's stuff about being seen. Even sometimes when you don't realise you're being seen, like being seen by a movie, there's something that resonates with your own story, endings, and all of that, and beginnings as well. The birth of children. There's something about key points and story that really taps into our emotions.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And faith is something kind of like this, I think. Like faith is something where when I was thinking about this evening and the kind of questions I wanted to ask you, and we're thinking about tears, we're thinking about crying, and that is naturally connected to emotion and the way that we experience emotion. But I think so often we talk about faith within the church as being something that we think, something that we believe, and we kind of experience it. We don't really talk much about an emotional experience of it. Why do you think that matters in terms of it being kind of us actually physically experiencing our emotions? Or do you think that matters at all?
I think it matters because I think it happens and I think it can't be helped. I don't think it's something we can ignore. I don't think we can separate this lofty, spiritual, abstract, intangibleness without experiencing something in our bodies. We can't separate the two. So even when we, and we talked about this before, but within charismatic evangelical Christianity, we are so quick to talk about the spirit and about personal salvation, that internalized kind of faith thing. But we're very reticent often or suspicious of talking around our bodies, our bodily functions, the physical world. We're quite suspicious of kind of attributing value to the physical. Everything that we value is untouchable. It's stuff that we can discuss. And I think that we lose a richness to our theology and to our spiritual lives when we disconnect our bodies from our emotions and from our faith. I think that our bodies, and talking specifically about tears here, and the way that we're made and created says something really specific and interesting around our creator God and being made in the image of God. So for me, like being made with lacrimal glands, like the ability to cry.
Is that what lacrimal glands are?
Lacrimal glands are these little bits in your eyes here. So the fact that we are made as humans with them, and other creatures have them too. And what's really interesting is that none of them cry emotional tears. There's been studies done to say that animals, even if people think they do, they don't. We are the only beings that cry emotional tears. Why? You know, if it's specific and to our humanity, our humanness as image bearers of God, then that's telling me something specific about who God is as well, and his emotionality, or, you know, the weeping God.
John says something really interesting here. Often I don't know the why
Yeah.
of tears, and
Yeah.
I don't need to.
Yeah. Amen.
A question for those of you who are joining us in the chat. Love to hear your thoughts on this. How do you find? What's your kind of experience of connecting your emotions and your faith? What does that feel like for you? And we're going to kind of come. I'm going to draw some of this out from you, Gail, a little bit, because you've written about this and you've studied this and you've thought about this. What made you want to think about crying?
Because there are over 500 references to tears in the Bible. And yeah, it's one of the most normal human bodily functions, and it's written about in the Bible, and we don't talk about it theologically. Like, we don't reflect on the why of tears. And you know, John's quite right, we don't always need to know the why, but there's something for me that I wanted to delve into. And I am an emotional person, and I wear that, you know, well. I don't apologize for that, but I wanted to understand more about the why of that for myself. And you know, and interestingly, writing my dissertation on tears and studying tears and the language of tears was really cathartic, really enjoyable. And as a result, and reflecting on kind of since the time that's passed, I think I cry less. And I don't think that's a bad or a good thing. I think that there was something in the process of writing about tears that meant that I didn't need tears to shout so loudly for them to get my attention of what is going on in my body and in my spirituality. Like, I recognize what's going on more. So I'm there's something around the tears don't need to speak to me so much anymore, because I'm already aware of them a lot of that, if that makes any sense.
Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah.
About what it means for that tears speak to you.
Yeah.
Is that because they kind of come before thoughts, kind of like John said, or is
Sure.
that?
Yeah, I think that there's something around tears kind of being something that doesn't need to... There is no cognitive thing going on sometimes when we're crying. They're a precursor. They're like a warning sign sometimes for some people, although tears aren't always because of sadness or hurt. They're often a joyful reaction as well. So I think that tears being a language, they're telling us something in our body. And again, this is why I think it's so rich, and why we lose out when we don't give the body greater airtime in our churches, because we can trust our bodies, we can trust our emotions, no matter what we've kind of inherited in some, you know, historical Western Christianity kind of movements. And they are telling us things for reasons. And I think tears have a language. So often, you know, like John said, he doesn't quite know why he's crying sometimes. And, you know, you've said that yourself as well, that sometimes you can cry and you're not really sure what's going on. And I think that that's because when we're crying, there's, it's like your body is responding quickly in a way that your brain has not yet been able to process. And you might be able to process post-crying what was going on in that moment, and you might not. But it's like there's something going on. This is why there's a spiritual element. There's no divide between the secular, sacred, body and spirit. They work in tandem with each other.
That's really helpful. I think one of the most memorable experiences for me of crying was I was at a gig. It's a band called Mono, who are a kind of post-rocky, kind of lots of big swells and all this kind of stuff. And I was at the front and they played a song, I can't even remember what it was. and I just found myself weeping. I don't know why. Like, I still don't know what it was that was in that song that triggered that response. But even now, when I go back and I listen to their music, it draws something out of me. It brings out a physical response that both is cathartic, like it feels like it's the right response, but at the same time it kind of also feels like the wrong response. Like it feels kind of shameful. And I was saying to you before we went live, there are some songs, some Christian kind of congregational worship songs, that there are lines in or verses in that I still can't sing. I could sing them, but it would mean
Through
that
tears.
I cried. And I don't know why. Like, I don't know why it brings out that response. But my reaction always within that, like in that moment of that song being sung and everyone's, singing it or whatever, is to stop singing and in my kind of thought process, say to myself, why you stop it. You can get through this. This is ridiculous. But I think this conversation is and thinking about having this conversation is helping me to realise that actually maybe that's not an unhealthy thing. Maybe it's not a stupid thing.
It's like a form of non-verbal communication, You're processing an internal conversation that you're not quite aware of yourself yet, but your body is.
Yeah. Alice said something really powerful here. She says, I'm new to faith and been on antidepressants for years, which has made crying really hard. But I found in the recent months where I've opened my heart more to Jesus, tears are starting to form.
Wow. That's amazing. That's brilliant.
I think that for me is a really important thing. It seems that an openness to tears and an openness to that kind of side of our emotions is clearly a healthy thing.
Absolutely.
It's a right thing.
Absolutely.
It's a good thing.
And not just in a spiritual sense, and again, like, for me, almost like everything is spiritual. There's no divide between the secular and sacred, and our bodies are inherently good. But when we cry, the physiology of crying, so there are three types of tears. You have basal tears, which are when I'm blinking, there's moisture. we all have them all the time, whether you want them or not. We have reflexive tears, which are when you cut an onion, or if the room's smoky, or it's responding to an irritant. Then you have emotional tears. So there are different types of tears going on. But when we're crying emotional tears, quite often what is happening is that you're excreting stress hormones as well. So as well as being spiritually, holistically good for us and saying something emotionally and this non-verbal communication, they're also fulfilling a really necessary process that if we bottle up, it's not good for us. That saying, have a good cry, it's because crying is good for you, actually. There's no shame in tears. It's a biological process that we are created to do. So when you are angry, and actually there's this woman, an amazing woman, and I recommend her book called The Topography of Tears. She's a photographer, and she put her tears on slides and put them under microscopes when she was crying for different reasons, and took pictures of them. And this book is just pictures of these tears under the microscope, and you can see the chemical composition and how different they look under a microscope, like different colors, different shapes. Like you can see angry tears, happy tears, when she stubbed her toe, it all looks different. So I think when we're crying, there is something wonderful and profound about the spirituality of tears, but it's so bound up in that embodied, the necessity to cry as well. That's
really helpful. I think it'd be really good if we hear one of those stories that you mentioned from the Bible, one of those
Yes.
references to tears, which probably is one of the most famous. And then we'll have a little chat about it, or think about it. In the chat, as you're listening to this reading, tell us how does it make you feel? What's your reaction to hearing and experiencing this story about Jesus weeping?
A reading from John chapter 11, verses 17 to 36, read from the NIV translation. Jesus comforts the sisters of Lazarus. On his arrival, Jesus found that Lazarus had already been in the tomb for 4 days. Now Bethany was less than 2 miles from Jerusalem, and many Jews had come to Martha and Mary to comfort them in their loss of their brother. When Martha heard that Jesus was coming, she went out to meet him, but Mary stayed at home. Lord, Martha said to Jesus, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But I know that even now God will give you whatever you ask. Jesus said to her, your brother will rise again. Martha answered, I know he will rise again in the resurrection at the last day. Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live even though they die, and whoever lives by believing in me will never die. Do you believe this? Yes, Lord, she replied. I believe that you are the Messiah, the Son of God, who is come into this world. After she had said this, she went back and called her sister Mary aside. The teacher is here, she said, and is asking for you. When Mary heard this, she got up quickly and went to him. Now Jesus had not yet entered the village, but was still at the place where Martha had met him. When the Jews who had been with Mary in the house comforting her noticed how quickly she got up and went out, they followed her, supposing she was going to the tomb to mourn there. When Mary reached the place where Jesus was and saw him, she fell at his feet and said, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. When Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews who had come along also with her also weeping, he was deeply moved in spirit and troubled. Where have you laid him? He asked. Come and see, Lord, they replied. Jesus wept. Then the Jews said, see how he loved him.
So, Gail, why do you think Jesus wept?
I think that there are many layers to Jesus, God, weeping in human form here. I think it's permission giving to us in all humanity in all time. I think it's the greatest moment of permission giving. You know, that shortest verse in the Bible, Jesus wept. Well, so can I then. There's no reason to argue against it, you know. It becomes not a sign of failure or weakness or femininity necessarily, you know, or gender stereotypical kind of thing. There's no kind of twisted associations, but it's this sentiment of divine solidarity with us in our humanity. And I think if we erase that from our theology, then what we do is, you know, the whole verse, God so loved the world. We get out the loved bit. We take away the emotion and we mechanize the events that lead to the cross. You know, it just becomes have to do. Whereas Jesus showing his love for us in his weeping as well for his friend. And when he weeps over Jerusalem as well, you know that there is a love there which motivates, which again corresponds back to the emotions that we see in Jesus. But I think as well, there's something around death being an affront to the life-giving God. I think that Michael Ramsey, what does he put it? Oh no, actually, it's David Runcorn who says when he's asked in his book, The Language of Tears, why does Jesus weep here when he knows he's about to resurrect Lazarus, which is the big question for all of us. He's like, well, his reasoning is that death is such an affront to a life-giving God. And also there's something physiologically that we just spoke about. If Jesus is fully God in fully human form, having your friend die, it's going to bring stress hormones. It's going to be it's going to warrant some crying. So I think there's multi layers of reasons why Jesus is crying in this passage. I think there's something around shared humanity and solidarity, something around his showing his emotionality and his reasons for his behavior and what he does for us later on. And I just think it's so permission giving. Yeah.
John says something really, really interesting here. I've been reduced to tears when God has shown me something I really needed to understand only a few times in my life. Key moments of understanding a new aspect or revelation of God's love for us. And I think there's something for me in the Bible and in the way that we read the Bible, which in the way that the Bible was written, that it is about stories which open up God's love for us. And I think that this story in particular normalizes crying. But do you think maybe we risk idolizing stories like this? By which I mean we kind of make a big thing out of it rather than making it a normal thing.
Yeah, so I think to go back to kind of the societal pressures or stereotypes that we put onto crying, I think in a Christian sense, when we read passages like this, famous passage, we give the actions of Jesus like a divine status, and we forget his humanity within it. So actually what should be really permission given, and what I read as permission giving, is that's all right for Jesus. It, like, weeping becomes almost giving too much status almost. It's like the pendulum swings too far the other way and it becomes inaccessible for us. Which again, I think when we question again that kind of defining kind of thing between body and spirit or emotions, when we question that and bring them closer together, again, it levels those actions of Jesus and his weeping. It's not just godlike and it's not human-like. It is somewhere in the middle.
Claire suggests something really interesting here. It's maybe Jesus wept with compassion and empathy for Mary.
Yeah.
Tears, like laughter, are infectious. Mm-hmm. We share in one another's emotions.
Absolutely. That for me is the other key part of this passage. And I think there's an intertextual lens here, which I dare to read between this passage and Luke 10 with the other famous Mary and Martha thing.
Intertextual, you mean kind of
I mean that
between the two?
You can, when you look at the passage with when Jesus visits Mary and Martha, and Martha's raging about life. I think there's a comparison to be made here, where and Ramsey Michaels puts it that Mary is in this story mainly to weep, her role here.
Interesting.
So he would say that the part where, when Jesus is eating with Mary and Martha before, and he's saying, Martha, Mary's found the better part here, that I would dare to say Mary's found the better part here, in that she didn't run out to meet Jesus and start questioning him initially. She was at home mourning still. So there's something there around, I would say she's found the better part here as well.
I think that kind of finding the better part, for me, what Kelly says here is really interesting. Is that there's something profound at the moment that Jesus weeps was not part of a longer sentence. It stands alone.
Yeah. Jesus
wept. That there's a moment, and that kind of links back to what Claire was saying about there's this solid moment of solidarity where they connect with this thing, but that Jesus's weeping stands in and of itself, within that context of being with others. How do you think? How do tears for you function within a community like Jesus's did here and Mary's did as well?
Yeah, again, there's so much, and I keep saying this word language, but I think tears really are a language in and of themselves. And I think we've lost the art of reading them, and because we freak out a little bit, or there's a sense of shame, or there must be a problem. We problematize tears. But I think in community, I think if we were to take the time to sit, in the Jewish culture it's called sitting shiva, like where you sit with people and their emotions, you don't try and fix it. And we have this fix it mentality, don't we? I think in community, when we're seeing people weep, or when we weep ourselves, there needs to be more of an acceptance of tears, that that you're not sitting in a place of shame, sharing this bodily function, sharing this emotionality. I think in the place of community, there's something around encouraging each other in our tears, and not having to have all the answers, but recognizing this person's deeply processing something, even if they don't know it themselves. But I think there's also something about corporate weeping. I think that, again, we spoke earlier about different cultures, different traditions, where corporate lament, corporate joy even, is something that is done. And again, I think we've lost that in our westernized Christianity, where corporate show of emotion, corporate crying, it's just never done. I can't remember ever being in a space. But actually, there is such good reason for us all to corporately be weeping quite often, in our intercessions or whatever. Why can't we have a bodily response to what is going on in our emotions and in our spiritual petitioning?
I'm reminded, have you ever seen the show Last One Laughing?
Yes, I have, yeah, briefly.
So there's in the latest series, one of the for context, for those of you who've not seen Last One Laughing, it's a show, a kind of a comedy show on Amazon Prime, where a group of British comedians get together in a room and they have to try and make each other laugh, and they're not allowed to laugh, and they get a yellow card the first time they laugh or smile, and then they get a red card and they're voted out. It's fun. It's good fun. But in the latest series, in one of the episodes, one of the participants is watching a performance that Diana Morgan is doing, and it's so funny. I mean, it's hilarious, but she's trying desperately to suppress her laughter, and the camera kind of zooms in on her face, and you see a tear roll down her face, and then at the end of the performance, she just I mean, I don't know. It wasn't really a laugh. It's more like a kind of roar. That just kind of there's just this expression of emotion. But I'm reminded of how one of the places that I think I see, one of the few places I see this kind of raw expression of emotion is in comedy clubs.
Yes. Yeah.
There's something culturally that has taken root recently, I think, in laughter, where that's the kind of culturally acceptable place to experience that kind of big corporate moment of, we all know why we're here.
Yeah.
We're in a room together to laugh.
Yeah.
And if tears roll down my face because I'm laughing so hard, then that's fine.
Yeah.
That's all right. And so, but I find it fascinating that with the rise of that has also come the increase in direct cremations.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Where actually we don't have...
Yeah.
You know, people are just going, well, you know...
you can't face.
I'll prepay. You know, they'll take my body away. That's it. Done. No service. Nothing.
And the funny thing about that, just to go down that tangent a little bit, is that people often think that they're doing a kind thing for their loved ones, but actually the loved ones that I've encountered who have had that situation, the majority feel like they've been deprived of that opportunity to mourn properly. And it's one of those things, I think, where on paper we think it's often a good idea, but it just goes to show, doesn't it, that when you're in that space, you really realise how much you need that. You need to release your emotions. When you were just talking, though, about comedy clubs and crying with laughter, it just made me reflect how, some of the worst times of my life I've been crying, but also some of the best times of my life I've been crying. My best, funnest moments, especially with my sister, when we really get laughing, I can't talk because I'm just crying. And what a joy. What a joy. Tears are just so complex.
Yeah. I fully agree. I say that as somebody who is not a very good public crier or communal crier. Maybe I need to get better at that.
Yeah.
Just before I ask the last question, Gail, and we move into the reset bit, I'd just like to encourage folk. We have something called a prayer box at Sunday Reset, which you'll find on screen now. There's a QR code, there's a link. This is an opportunity for you if you would like us to pray for you. We'll do so live after the song that we'll have in a minute. It's completely anonymous, so it comes through to us with an anonymized name, so we don't know who you are. And I will pray for you. Please, if you would like prayer this evening, do fill that in. Go to the link, pop something in, and we will pray for you. Gail, as we kind of come to the end of our discussion, first of all, I'd like to say thank you, because it's been really interesting for me. It's been really helpful for me.
Good.
But practically speaking, are there any kind of simple practices that could kind of help people integrate tears into the practice of their spirituality?
Yeah, I've been thinking about this, and it's really hard because you can't force tears. They will come at the most inopportune times. It's like that thing about grief, that it just hits you as and when, doesn't it? And so I think integrating tears as a physical practice isn't practical. But I think that part of the way that we can nourish our attitude towards tears that will have an impact on us and engaging with them ourselves is how we hold others. And I just think it's so important. And I would just encourage anybody and everybody that the next time you are faced with a crying face, don't be quick to dismiss it. Don't be quick, don't tell your children to stop crying. don't, it's
Should we tell ourselves to stop crying?
No, don't tell anybody to stop crying. What audacity? What audacity? It's a spiritual process. It's a biological process. Just let people cry and just sit with people. Just become more a friend of tears and less afraid of tears, I think I would say. One spiritual practice you could look into, I think that might be helpful, although it's not a direct line, is Ignatian spirituality. I think has been quite helpful for me, which for those of you who don't know, it looks, a big part of Ignatian spirituality is learning to put yourselves into a story, into a biblical passage, and I think that helps you. I think story and things resonating, that's so important. So Ignatian spirituality I'd say look at, but just be aware the next time you see someone crying, and just always feel that you can tell people, it's okay to cry. And we said, it's hard to hear that, and it doesn't always make it easier, but we need to change the culture and our attitude towards tears. Do some good reading on it. There's loads of good books around tears. You've
got some here. Of these, for people who are readers,
yes,
who like reading stuff, which one or maybe two would you
so the
kind of
two
recommend to folks?
most accessible books I would recommend to get you started on tears would be David Runcorn's The Language of Tears, Their Gift, Mystery and Meaning. Really good, accessible overview, and I enjoyed that a lot. Really good read, not too long. And also similarly, this is With Those Who Weep by S.A. Morrison, A Theology of Tears. Not a long book, more of a reflective read and a delve into practical theology, but absolutely, utterly beautiful and quotable. So I'd recommend those two books.
And one maybe for those who are more kind of want to get in depth, who are a bit more cerebral, maybe.
If you want a secular book about tears, it's kind of like a history of tears. This is probably the greatest work. Crying: The Natural and Cultural History of Tears by Tom Lutz. Really, really brilliant. But if you want an academic read, probably this bunch of essays, Holy Tears, Weeping in the Religious Imagination, which is edited by Patton and Hawley. It's got lots of good essays in. Or if you wanted more broad kind of embodied spirituality, not just tears, A Plea for Embodied Spirituality by Fraser Watts, The Role of the Body in Religion.
Fantastic. Gail, thank you. One last question. Tim, who's behind the scenes, is now going, no, hurry up.
Sorry, Tim.
I'm going to ask one more question. Should we just then cry more? Like, is this something where...
No.
Okay.
It has to be organic. Like, you can't force tears, really. And for some people, they just don't cry a lot. And that's fine. I think we all have our ways that we will lean more to communicate. I know lots of people who say they don't cry or they very rarely cry. That's okay. There's no shame in not crying. When I talk about us being image bearers of God, it's more that we all have the propensity to cry. So it's the ability to, whether we do or not. We are all made with the possible function of crying, whether we choose to utilize that or that's how God moves within us. Just in the same way that there are other ways that different people find helpful to communicate with God and God speaks to them. So there's no shame in not crying and there's no shame in crying. Kind of is what it is, guys.
That's really helpful. Just having the freedom to be able to go, no, you know what? This is something that this is a thing that I've been created to do, and it's okay for that thing to happen or for that thing not to happen.
Yeah.
But the permission, the internal permission, the emotional permission, and the social permission. I think maybe in our church communities, we need to get better at that social permission.
Absolutely.
What does that look like?
Preach about it more. Speak about it more. We don't. When was the last time you heard a sermon in church about crying? It's over 500 references. It's a great thing to talk about.
It is a really, really great thing to talk about, and it's been really good to be able to talk about it this evening with you, Gail. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. It's been a joy.
Really appreciate it. We're going to have a song now that is gives you an opportunity just to think, reflect, maybe put something in the prayer box if you would like to do so. Following that song, when we come back, there will be some candles, and we'll gradually put those candles out as we pray. Following that, there will be 10 minutes of silence and of darkness. That's intentional. That's not a mistake. And we ask you to join with us in that 10 minutes of silence and of stillness to reflect, to reset, to hold in that moment all that you've been thinking about, all that you've been processing this evening. That for us is our reset, our moment of reset. And then when that 10 minutes is over, the stream will end. Friends, it's been really good to be with you this evening, and we hope that you will join us next month.
Christ has no body now but yours, no hands, no feet on earth but yours. Yours are the eyes with which he sees, yours Yours are the feet with which he walks. Yours are the hands with which he blesses all the world. Yours are the hands.
A reading from Luke 19, verse 41. As he, Jesus, approached Jerusalem and saw the city, he wept over it and said, "If you, even you, had only known on this day what would bring you peace, but now it is hidden from your eyes."
Christ has no body now but yours. No hands, no feet on earth but yours. Yours are the eyes with which he sees. Yours are the feet with which he walks. Yours are the hands with which he blesses all the world. Yours are the hands. Yours are the hands. Christ has no body now but yours. No hands, no feet on earth but yours. Yours are the eyes with which he sees. Yours are the feet with which he walks. Yours are the hands with which he blesses all the world. Yours are the hands. Yours are the hands. Christ has no body now but yours. No hands, no feet on earth but yours. Yours are the eyes with which he sees. Yours are the feet with which he walks. Yours are the hands with which he blesses all the world. Yours are the hands. Yours are the hands. Yours are the hands.
As we prepare now to enter this space, we pray for all those who are struggling with their ability to express their emotion through tears. We pray particularly for Stevie, who would love to get better at crying, who feels like they always block their emotions to support those around them. Lord, give them the courage and the strength and the openness to be able to cry. Lord, we pray for those who love to cry, Lord, for those who connect deeply with you on a physical, emotional level, may they be an example to those who want to express their spirituality and their faith in that way, but who find it difficult. Lord, for those struggling at the moment with grief, finding ways to express those emotions and that experience. We pray that they will be able to authentically respond to what is going on in their lives, and the way in which their bodies want to react to what's going on around them. Lord, we pray for all those who feel a pressure not to cry or to suppress their tears. Help them to understand and to know more that they have been created to be people with tears. Lord, we thank you for tears of laughter, and for tears of sadness, for all that they communicate, for all that they express, for the way in which they say something to those around us which words cannot. We thank you for the way in which tears communicate for us. For how they respond and react before we can even think. We thank you for that gift. Thank you for your example. For your example of weeping. For your example of solidarity. And your example of compassion through tears.